Indian Economy by the book of Arihant. Okay, so economic planning in India, history of planning in India. First attempt to initiate economic planning in India was made by Sir M. Vishwaraya, a noted engineer and politician in 1934 through his book Planned Economy for India. In 1938, National Planning Commission was set up under the chairmanship of J. L. Nehru by the Indian and National Congress in Haripura session. Okay, then in 1944, Bombay Plan was presented by 8 leading industrialists of Bombay. In 1944, again, Gandhian Plan was given by S. N. Agarwal. In 1945, People's Plan was given by M. N. Roy. In 1950, Sarvodaya Plan was given by J.P. Narayan. A few points of this plan were accepted by the government. Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog, or a National Institution for Transformation India, Ayog is a policy think tank of Government of India that has replaced Planning Commission. The replacement of Planning Commission was done in 13th August 2014 and aims to involve the states in economic policy in India. The Union Government announced formation of Niti Aayog on January 1, 2015. Members: Prime Minister of India as the chairperson, Governing Council comprising the chief ministers of all states and Lieutenant Governor of Union territories. Then Regional Council was also there. Experts, specialists, and practitioners with relevant domain knowledges and full-time organizational framework. Prime Minister, in addition to Prime Minister as the chairperson, comprising Vice Chairman, rank of the Cabinet Minister, and then members two, full-time member, and part-time members, maximum of two from the leading universities, then ex officio members and chief executive officer. Difference between Niti Aayog and Planning Commission, we can take in account, like financial cloud. Niti Aayog is an advisory body or a think tank. The powers to allocate funds are vested in the finance ministry, whereas Planning Commission enjoyed the powers to allocate funds to ministries and state governments. Full-time members in Niti Aayog, the number of full-time members are fewer than Planning Commission. States' role in Niti Aayog: states governments are expected to play a more significant role than they did in the Planning Commission. In a Planning Commission, states' role was limited to the National Development Council and the annual interaction during plan meetings. Part-time members: Niti Aayog has a number of part-time members depending on the need from time to time. Planning Commission had no provision of part-time members. Constitution: Niti Aayog's governing council has chief ministers and lieutenant governors. The Planning Commission reported to National Development Council that had chief ministers and lieutenant governors. Then participation, when we talk about Niti Aayog consults states while making policy and deciding on allocation of funds, but financial policy is the result of that, while policy was formed by the Planning Commission and states were then consulted about allocation of funds. So allocation, Niti Aayog has no power for allocating any fund, but while Planning Commission had the power to decide allocation of government funds for various programs and national and state levels. Planning Commission, when we talk about, in very brief, I am going to tell you very short that the now defunct Planning Commission was set up in March 15, 1950 under the chairmanship of Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru by a resolution of Union Cabinet. It was an extra constitutional non-statutory body. It was set up on the recommendation of K.C. Niyugi Committee constituted in 1946. All the plans made by the Planning Commission had to be approved by National Development Council (NDC) first. NDC was set up on August 6, 1952 by a proposal of the government. The PM was ex officio chairman of NDC. When we talk about economic planning, these are having three types, you can say: indicative planning, imperative planning, and democratic planning. Indicative planning is peculiar to a mixed economy like India. In a mixed economy, the public and private sectors work together. Under imperative planning, all economic activities and resources of the economy operate under the direction of the states, or you can say centralized planning. In democratic planning, the philosophy of democratic government is accepted as the ideological basis. Objective of planning, when we talk about to increase production to the maximum possible extent, and as to achieve a higher level of national and per capita income, to achieve full employment, to reduce inequalities in income and wealth, and to set up a socialist society based on equality and justice and absence of exploitation. Now I'm going to give you a short recap of 5 years plan. So first 5 year plan was there in 1951 to 56. It was based on Harold Domer model. K. N. Raj wrote its forward. Then community development program was launched in 1952. These are somehow you can say features of first five planning. Then the second 5 year planning is very important. 1956 to 61, also called Mahalanobis plan. Mahalanobis plan. After its chief architect PC Mahalanobis, it was based on 1928 Soviet model of Feldman. Soviet model of Feldman. Its emphasis was on economic stability. Agriculture target fixed in the first plan was almost achieved. Consequently, the agriculture sector got low priority in second planning. Okay, then its objective was rapid industrialization. Beside the industrial policy of in 1956 emphasized the role of public sector and accepted the establishment of a socialist pattern of the society. Advocated huge imports. Okay, then third 5 year plan 1961 to 66, it aims it was to make India a self reliant or self generating economy. Also it was realized that from the experience of first two plans that agriculture should be given the top priority to surface the requirement of export of the country, or complete failure due to unforeseen misfortunes, because in the time of third year planning, Chinese aggression in 1962, Indo-Pak War 1965, and severest drought in 100 years 1965 to 66 there. So that's why it was somehow fully failed. Prices increased by 36% in 5 years, and hence third plan failed in every aspect. Three annual plans 1966 to 69. During this plan, whole new agriculture strategy involving widespread distribution of high yielding varieties, YV of seeds, the extensive use of fertilizers, exploitation of irrigation potential, and soil conservation was put into action to tide over the crisis in agriculture production. During the annual plans, the economy basically absorbed the shocks given during the third plan, making way for a plan for growth. Now, fourth 5 year plan 1969 to 74 set before itself the two principal objectives: growth with stability and progress towards reliance. The main emphasis on agriculture's growth rate so that a chain reaction can start. 14 major Indian banks were nationalized in 1969. The situation in East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, was becoming dire as the Indo-Pakistan War of 1971 and Bangladesh Liberation War took funds earmarked for industrial development. So India also performed the Smiling Buddha underground nuclear test Pokhran 1 in Rajasthan on May 18, 1974. So that was really important. In 1974, in Pokhran, Rajasthan, India also performed the Smiling Buddha underground nuclear test. Okay, during the planning period, prices increased by about 61%. Prior to the fourth plan, the allocation of state resources was based on schematic patterns rather than a transparent and objective mechanism, which led to the adoption of Gargil formula in 1969. It was adopted for distribution of plan assistance during fourth and fifth 5 year plans. Revised versions of the formula have been used since then. The determine the allocation of central assistance of state plans. Fifth 5-year plan. The fifth 5-year plan, prepared and launched by DP Dhar, proposed to achieve two main objectives, with removal of poverty, it means Garibi Hatao, and attainment of self-reliance. So that is really important. Garibi Hatao is followed in fifth 5-year plan. National program of minimum seeds needs national program of minimum needs was initiated in 1974. Rolling plan, when we talk about 1978 to 80, there were two sixth plan, one by Janta government, okay, 1708 to 83, which was in operation for 2 years only, and the other by the Congress government when it returned to the power in 1980. So the Janta government plan is also called rolling plan. The meaning of the rolling plan was that now every year the performance of the plan will be assessed and a new plan will be made next year based upon this assessment. In the rolling plans, there are three kinds of plans. First is the plan for the current year, which comprises the annual budget. Second is the plan for the fixed number of years, which may be 3 or 4 or 5 years, and this second plan is kept changing as per as the requirement of the economy. And third is perspective plan, which is for 10, 15 or 20 years. Thus there is no fixation of dates in respect of commencement and end of the plan in the rolling plans. The main advantages of the rolling plans are is really that they are flexible. Okay, however it targets are revised each year, it becomes very difficult to achieve the targets. Integrated rural development plan, IRDP, was launched in financial year 1978. It is a major mechanism for the elevation of rural poverty. Sixth 5-year plan, 1980 to 1985. This was the end of Nehruvian socialism. The National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, it means NABARD, was established for the development of rural areas on July 12, 1982, on the recommendation of Siva Raman Committee. Okay, family planning was also expanded in order to prevent overpopulation. So these two, it means NABARD and this family planning also started in sixth 5-year plan. So sixth 5-year plan is also important. Then seventh 5-year plan has a great success. The economy recorded 6% growth rate against targeted 5% growth. Okay, so seventh is important because this time they achieve more than whatever they decided. Now I'm going to discuss inclusive growth. This is the inclusive growth, rapid and inclusive growth, poverty reduction. This was decided in 11th 5-year plan in 2007 to 2012. Then 12th 5-year plan 2012 to 2017 is there. It aims at a growth rate of 8%. This is the revised rate when compared to the initial approach paper. This plan focuses on growth which is faster, inclusive, sustainable. Some monitorable targets are economic growth, real GDP growth at 8%, agricultural growth at 4%, manufacturing growth at 10%. Every state must attain higher growth, a rate that the rate achieved during the 11th plan. Poverty and employment. Poverty rate to be reduced by 10% than the rate at the end of 11th plan. Then we talk about health, reduce IMR to 25 and MMR to 1. Okay, increase child sex ratio to 90/50 and reduce total fertility rate to 2.1. And then infrastructure, when we talk about investment in infrastructure at 9% of GDP, gross irrigated area 103 million hectares, electricity to all villages, reduce AT and C losses by 20%. Increase green cover by 1 million hectare every year, 30,000 megawatt renewable energy during 5-year period. Then banking services to 90% of Indian households. Subsidies and welfare related payments to be routed through Aadhaar based direct cash transfer scheme, DCT scheme. Okay, so Now it's time to understand unemployment in India. Types of unemployment. What is unemployment? It simply means a situation when able and willing people, age of group of 15 to 65 years, are not getting job 8 hours per day for 273 days. That is called as unemployment. Okay, or as per their own capabilities. Types of unemployment: structural unemployment, then unemployment, open unemployment, disguised unemployment, frictional unemployment, and seasonal unemployment. I'm going to discuss one by one. Structural unemployment: this type of unemployment is associated with economic structure of the country. Productive capacity is inadequate to create a sufficient number of jobs. This type of unemployment is of long run in nature. Then unemployment. So underemployment, it means those laborers are underemployed who obtain work but their efficiency and capability are not utilized at their optimum, and as a result they contribute in the production up a very limited level. A country having this type of unemployment fails to exploit the efficiencies of its labor. Then open unemployment: when the laborers will live without any work and they don't find any work to do, they come under the category of open unemployment. Educated unemployed and unskilled labor unemployment are included in open employment. So educated unemployed people also covered in open unemployment. Then the migration from rural to urban areas in search of work is very often found in India, which is an example of open unemployment. Disguised, if a person does not contribute anything in the production process, or in other words, if he can be removed from the work without affecting the productivity adversely, he will be treated as disguisedly unemployed. The marginal productivity of such an unemployed person is zero. Agriculture sector of underdeveloped developing economies possess this type of unemployment a larger scale. Fractional unemployment: the unemployment generated due to change in market conditions, change in demand or supply conditions, is called fractional unemployment. It is found even 100% employment rate scenario. Agricultural is the main occupation in India. The supply conditions still depend on weather, moods, and similarity demands. Conditions depend upon availability of resources. Seasonal unemployment: it appears due to a change in demand based on seasonal variations. Laborers do not get work around the year. They get employed in the peak season of agriculture activities and become unemployed when these activities are over. When we talk about poverty in India is home to one third of poor people in the world. If we add the poor of Pakistan and Bangladesh into it, we find that almost half of the world poverty exists in just these three nations. Estimation of poverty has been a contentious issue in India. Historically, the first estimation of poverty line was done by Dadabhai Naroji in 19th century, though he himself did not use the word poverty line. Some committees are there. YK Alag Committee. Okay, so this Alag Committee, whereby the people consuming less than 2100 calories in the urban areas and less than 2400 calories in the rural areas, were considered as poor. Then Lakadwala formula is there. Another expert group was instituted in 1993 chaired by DT Lakadwala to examine poverty line for India. This committee defined poverty line on the basis of household per capita consumption expenditure. The committee used CPIIL, it means Consumer Price Index for industrial laborers, and CPIAL, a Consumer Price Index for agricultural laborers, for estimation of poverty line. Now, this is Tendulkar Committee. The current estimation of poverty are based upon the recommendation of Suresh Tendulkar Committee set up in 2005, adopted the cost of living as the basis for identifying poverty. It stipulated a benchmark daily per capita expenditure of rupees 27 and rupees 33 in rural and urban areas respectively. Rangranjan committee, since the numbers of Tendulkar committee were unrealistic and too low, the government appointed another committee under Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council Chairman C. Rangarajan to review the poverty estimation methodology. So what it says rupees 32 and rupees 47 for rural and urban areas respectively, raised this limit. So the limit of that rupees was like rupees 32 for rural and 47 for urban areas. With these estimates, poverty stood at around 30% in 2011 and 12. The number of poor in India was estimated at 36.3 crore in 2011 and 12. Current status of poverty line, if we talk about, in its latest report, RBI has named Goa as having the least poverty of 5.09%, while the national average stands at 21.92. Chhattisgarh is worst, 39.93, followed by Dadra Nagar Haveli, Jharkhand, Manipur, and Arunachal Pradesh. So here we are going to discuss some important programs which are related to anti-poverty and employment generation program. Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarojgar. So Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana SGRY started on April 1, 1999. It has replaced the following some yojanas. This one replaced. Then Pradhan Mantri Gramodaya Yojana, introduced in 2000 to 2001. Then it has following components like Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Gramodaya Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Gramodaya Yojana Rural Drinking Water Project. Then Sapurna Gramin Rozgar Yojana. Then Antodaya Anya Yojana, launched on to December 2000. The scheme aims at providing food security to poor families. Then Annapurna Yojana, inaugurated on March 1999, then which provides subsidized rates of rupees 2 per kg of wheat and rupees 3 per kg of rice. Then midday meal scheme for school children, launched in 15 August 1995. The objective of the program is to give a boost to universalization of primary education by increasing enrollment, attendance, and retention, and also improving nutritional status of the children. Then Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission, JNARM, is a massive city modernization scheme launched by Government of India under Ministry of Urban Development. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, Manrega, you can say. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme is a job guarantee scheme enacted by legislation on August 25, 2005. The ongoing programs of Sampurna Gramini Rojgar Yojana and all were subsumed within the NRGs in 200 districts identified in the initial stage. The scheme provides a legal guarantee for 100 days of employment in every financial year to adult members of any rural households willing to do public work related and unskilled manual work at the statutory minimum wages. The law was initially called the National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, but was renamed on 2nd October 2009. Then this one is done. Let's quickly recap some important initiatives of Government of India. Make in India to facilitate investment, foster innovation, enhance skill development, protect intellectual property, and build best-in-class manufacturing infrastructure in the country, to attract investments, and led by the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, DIPP, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. The program also aims at improving India's rank on ease of doing a business index by eliminating the unnecessary laws and regulations. The initiative was formally introduced in September 25, 2014. Okay, so the focus of Make in India program is in 25 sectors. These includes mainly automobiles, aviation, chemicals, IT and BPM, then pharmaceuticals, then construction, defense, manufacturing, then electrical machinery, food processing, textiles, garments, then ports, leather, media and entertainment, wellness, and many all. Okay, Atal Pension Yojana, launched by PM Narendra Modi on May 9, 2015. Okay, so in Kolkata, it is a government backed pension scheme targeted at the unorganized sector. This scheme aims to increase the number of people who have any kind of pension scheme. Under the scheme, for every contribution made to the pension fund, central government would also co contribute 50% of the total contribution of rupees 1000 per annum, whichever is lower, to each eligible subscriber account for a period of 5 years. The minimum age of joining is 18 years and maximum age is 40 years. Aadhaar would be the primary KYC document for identification of beneficiaries. Pradhan Mantri Jan Suraksha, sorry, that was no the that was the scheme was Atal Pension Yojana. The scheme was has been linked to the bank accounts opened under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. That I will be talking later. Then a Pradhan Mantri Jan Suraksha Bima Yojana is government backed accident insurance scheme in India. It was launched by PM Modi on May 9, 2015 in Kolkata. The Yojana is available to people between 18 and 70 years of age with the bank accounts. It has an annual premium of rupees 12 excluding service tax, which is about 14% of the minimum premium. Will be rupees The nominee will be rupees 2 lakh, and in case of partial permanent disability, rupees 1 lakh. Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Save Girl Child and Educate Girl Child, that was launched in 22 January 2015 to address the issue of declining child sex ratio. It is Government of India scheme that aims to generate awareness and improving the efficiency of welfare services meant to for women. Was initiated with the initial corpus of 100 crore. According to census data, the child sex ratio 0 to 6 years in India was 927 girls per 1000 boys in 2001, which dropped drastically to 918 girls for every 1000 boys in 2011. So that is really a 2012 UNICEF report has ranked India 41st among 195 countries. Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, when we talk about it, is a scheme for comprehensive financial inclusion launched by Prime Minister of India in August 28, 2014, run by the Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance. On the inauguration day, 1.5 crore bank accounts were opened under the scheme. The scheme has an option for opening new bank accounts with zero balance. The scheme has been started with a target to provide universal access to banking facilities, starting with basic banking accounts with the overdraft facility of rupees 5,000 after 6 months, and Rupee debit card with built inbuilt accident insurance cover of 1 lakh rupee, and Rupee Kisan card is also there. In next phase, micro insurance and pensions etc. will be added. Under the scheme, anyone who is Indian citizen above 10 years of age and does not have any bank account can open the account with zero balance. Account holders will be provided with Rupee debit card, and addition to accidental insurance covers of rupees 1 lakh to be given by HDFC Ergo. Then those who open accounts by January 26, 2015 over and above the 1 lakh accident insurance, they will be given life insurance cover of 30,000 to be given by LIC. After 6 months of the opening of the bank account, holders can avail 5,000 overdraft from the banks. Next initiative was their Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, that encourages parents to build a fund for the future education and marriage expenses for their female child. It was started in January 2015 in Panipat, Haryana, as a part of Beti Bachao Beti Padhao campaign. The scheme currently provides an attractive interest rate and tax benefits. The account can be opened at any India Post Office or branch of some authorized commercial banks. A minimum of rupees 1,000 must be deposited in the account annually. Okay, so the maximum deposit limit is rupees 1,50,000. The girl can operate her account after she reaches the age of 10. The account allows 50% withdrawal at the age of 18 for higher education purpose. The account reaches maturity at the age of 21. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, launched by PM in 2016, it is a welfare scheme of Government of India The government has set a target of 5 crore LPG connections to be distributed to the BPL families, then households across the country under this scheme. Main objectives we can call that empowering women and protecting their health, reducing the serious health hazards associated with cooking based on fossil fuel, reducing the number of deaths in India due to unclean cooking fuel, and preventing young children from acute respiratory illness caused due to indoor air pollution by burning the fossil fuel. Then Digital India, launched by PM Narendra Modi on July 2, 2015. It is campaign to ensure that government services are made available to citizens electronically by improving online infrastructure and by increasing internet connectivity, or by making the country digitally empowered in the field of technology. The initiative includes plans to connect rural areas with high speed internet networks, the creation of digital infrastructure, delivering services digitally, and digital literacy. Startup India, this campaign was started as a aim promoting bank financing for the startups venture to boost entrepreneurship and encourage startups with job creation. It is focused on to restrict role of states in policy domain and to get rid of license raj and hindrance like the land permissions, foreign investment proposals, and environment clearance. Rural India's version of a startup India is named Deen Dayal Upadhyay Swani Yojan. Deen Dayal Upadhyay Swani Yojan Yojana. Skill India, launched in July 15, 2015, with an aim to train over 40 crore people in India in different skills by 2022. Okay, 2022. So 2022. Okay, and it includes the following initiatives by the government, like National Skill Development Mission, then National Policy for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship 2015, then Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, and skill loan scheme. UK has entered into the partnership with India under this program. Pradhan Mantri Mudra Loan Yojana, Bank Yojana. The purpose of Mudra is to provide funding to the non-corporate small business sector. Its objective is to fund the unfunded. Micro units development and refinance agency, it means Mudra Bank, is the new institution that has been set up by the government of India for development and refinancing activities relating to the micro units. Shishu loan up at 50,000. I think it is changed. You just go through the current affairs. These are type of three: Shishu, Kishore, and Tarun. Okay. Then Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana is there. Atal Mission for Regeneration and Urban Transformation, Amrut mission is there, which is especially for started in 2015, June 2015, to establish infrastructure that could ensure adequate, robust sewage networks and water supply for urban transformation. Amrut was launched with the housing for all by 2022. On the same day, under this scheme, Union government provides an assistance of 50% of the project cost for cities with the population of over up to 10 lakh. Then Heritage City Development and Augmentation Program, or Yojana, you can say Harry Day, on Jan 21, 2015, with a focus on holistic development of heritage cities. The scheme aims to preserve and revitalize shoal of heritage city to reflect the city's unique character by encouraging aesthetically appealing, accessible, informative, and secured environment. Smart City Mission, it is an urban it is Smart City Mission. It is an urban renewable and profiting program with a mission to develop 100 cities all over the country, making them citizens friendly and sustainable. 100 cities in the country, model areas based on an area of development program. Cities have been selected based on the smart city challenges. Each selected city has created a corporate company headed by a full-time CEO to implement the smart city mission. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan aims to clean up the streets, roads, and infrastructure of Indian cities, smaller towns, and rural areas. Its objective includes eliminating open defecation through the construction of household owned and community owned toilets and establishing an accountable mechanism of monitoring toilet use. It aimed open defecation free ODF India by October 2019, the 150th anniversary of the birth of Mahatma Gandhi, by constructing 12 million toilets in rural India at the projected cost of 1.96 lakh crore. The campaign was officially launched on October 2, 2014 at Rajghat, New Delhi by PM Narendra Modi. It is India's largest cleanliness device to a date with 3 million government employees. In the next audio, we will discuss about national income of India and many of other things like green revolution and agriculture based. So we will meet you in the next audio. Thank you.
Now I'm going to start economy part second. Okay, so very first we will start with national income in India. National income measures the net value of goods and services produced in a country during a year. In other words, a total of national income measures the flow of goods and services in an economy. National income is a flow, not a stock. In India, national income estimates are related with the financial year April 1 to March 31. Okay, concepts of national income when we talk about, so very first we will talk about gross domestic product. It means GDP. It is the money value of all final goods and services produced in the domestic territory of a country in an accounting year. Now we will move forward for the NDP, net domestic product. While calculating GDP, no provision is made for depreciation. However, capital goods such as machines, equipments, tools, buildings, tractors, and so on get depreciated during the process of production. When depreciation allowance is subtracted from GDP, then you can get NDP. So, what is the formula? You can say NDP is equal to GDP minus depreciation. Two more important concepts. When GDP is estimated on the basis of the prevailing prices, it is called GDP at current prices. If GDP is measured on the basis of the some fixed prices that is prevailing at the time of or in some base year, it is known as GDP at constant prices, or you can say real GDP. GDP at factor cost. It is estimated as the sum of net value added by the different producing unit. Since the net value added gets distributed as income to the owners of factors of production, GDP can also be estimated as a sum of domestic factors, income and consumption of fixed capital. Conceptually, the value of GDP, whether estimated at market price or factor cost, must be identical. One formula you can find out from there: GDP at factor cost is equal to GDP at my marketplace price minus indirect taxes or plus subsidies. Now we will talk about gross national product. It means GNP. It refers to the money value of total output or production of final goods and services produced by the nationals of a country during a given period of time. In GNP, we include the money value of goods and services produced by nationals outside the country also. Okay, so in equation form, we can say GNP is equal to GDP plus X minus M. Here X is what? Here X is export and M is sorry, here X is income earned and received by nationals within the boundaries of foreign countries. Okay, so this is X, you can call it as net factor income from abroad, and M is income received by foreign nationals from within the country. Now it's time to understand net national product, NNP. It can be derived by subtracting depreciation allowance from GNP. So therefore NNP is equal to GNP minus depreciation. Then you can get NNP. GDP at market price may be equal to NDP at market price if depreciation is zero. GDP at factor cost may be equal to GDP at market price if NIT uh, is zero, or say indirect taxes is equal to subsidies. Here NIT means net indirect taxes. When we talk about methods of measuring national income, the circular flow of production, income, and expenditure represents three related phases: production, distribution, and disposal. Value added, or you can say production method, four types of method: value added and income method and expenditure method. Okay, these type of methods you can use. So very first we will talk about value added method measures the contribution of each producing enterprise in the domestic territory of a country. Enterprises are classified into three main categories: primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. Primary sector, you can have agriculture and allied activities. Secondary sector, which includes manufacturing units, and tertiary sector, which comprises services such as banking, insurance, transport, and communication, trade, and profession. For the economy as a whole, net products contributed by each sector are added to get NDP. The following items need to be included carefully: productions of fixed assets by government, enterprises, and households, production for self consumption, and inputted uh, rent of owner occupied houses. In value added method, now we cannot add some things. What are we cannot add? Sale of second hand machines, okay, because they were counted as a part of production in the year in which they were produced. Then brokerage and commission earned by the dealers of second hand goods are a part of production, hence included while calculating the total value added. So the product method gives information about the industrial origins of national income. Net income from abroad should be included or subtracted to get a true picture of national income. Now we will move forward for the income method. Factors of production pool their services for carrying out production activities. These factors of production are paid off for their services in the form of factor incomes. Labor gets wages, land gets rent, capital gets interest, and entrepreneur gets profits. Whatever is produced by the producing unit is distributed among the factors of production for their services, and the aggregate of factor incomes of all the factors of production of all the producing units from the subject matter of calculation of national income by the income method. Very very important point that transfer incomes should not get included in the national income. Personal income, which is income of the household sector, should not be confused with national income. The former includes transfer payments, and whereas the latter does not. Expenditure method: the various sector, households, business, and government either spend their incomes or consumer goods and services, or save a part of their incomes. Total expenditure in an economy consists of expenditure on financial assets, on goods produced in preceding periods, on raw materials, intermediate goods and services, and on final goods and services produced in an current period. Only expenditure on final goods and services produced in the period for which the national income is to be measured, and net foreign investments are included in the expenditure method. Estimates of national income in India: no specific attempts were made for estimating national income in India. In 1868, the first attempt was made by Dadabhai Naroji. He is in his book Poverty and Un-British Rule in India, estimated Indian per capita annual income at a level of rupees 16 to 35. Soon after independence, the government of India appointed the National Income Committee in August 1949 under the chairmanship of Professor P.C. Mahalbonis. Okay, Mahalnobis, to compile authoritative estimates of national income. And for further estimation of national income, this government established CSO, Central Statistical Organization. Recently, CSO has introduced a new series on national income with 2011 and 12 as a base year. Let's have some talk about agriculture. India is the second largest producer of food in the world. Importance of agriculture, when we talk about share of agriculture in national income, is really very important. Important contribution to employment also, important source of industrial development also, important in international trade also. Okay, in India only 45% agricultural land is under irrigation, rest 55% of dependent on monsoon. Let's have some talk about MSP, or we can say minimum support price. Minimum support price is a form of a market intervention by the government of India to ensure agriculture producers against any sharp fall in farm price. First time it is done in 1966-67 for wheat in the wake of Green Revolution. It is a price fixed by the government of India to protect the producer, example, you know that farmers against excessive fall in price during bumper production years. The minimum support prices are a guarantee price for their produce from the government. So what happened in this? Government agencies purchased the entire quantity offered by farmers at the announced minimum price. So the major objectives are to support the farmers from distress sales and to procure food grains for public distribution. MSP is announced by Government of India at the beginning of the sowing season. It means Rabi and Kharif for certain crops on the basis of their recommendation of the Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices. It means CACP, which was established in 1985. As of now, MSP is announced for 25 commodities. Here 25 it is written, but I have listened it is 27. What is procurement price, PP? Okay, so it is the price at which government procures food grains for buffer stocking and PDS purpose through FCI. What is FCI? When we talk about Food Corporation of India, FCI conducts open-ended procurement in case of wheat and rice. It means government will buy at MSP from any farmer who comes forward to sell, even if market price are running higher than MSP. But the other crops are the procurement is not open-ended. It means government will buy only when then their price fall below MSP in open market. NAFED is what? National Agriculture Cooperative Market Federation of India. Okay, so NAFED means National Agriculture Cooperative Marketing Federation of India is the nodal procurement agency for oilseeds, pulses and cotton. So when the price of oilseeds, pulses and cotton fall below MSP, NAFED purchase them from the farmers. Fair and remunerative prices, FRP is the minimum price of sugarcane. Okay, so it's really important. Sugarcane has the different type of MSP which called as FRP. Okay, fair and remunerative prices. FRP is the minimum price of sugarcane that the sugar mills have to pay to farmers. The final approval of FRP comes from Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs (CCEA). FRP replaced the statutory minimum price SMP in 2009 to 10. Then, however, many states in North India also announced a state advised price, or you can say SAP. What is issue price? Issue price or central issue price CIP is the price at which central government makes PDS commodities, why visa you can say wheat, rice, sugar and kerosene available to the states. The states fix retail price to be charged at fair price shops FPS. So what it means, like clothes, exercise books, pulses, salt, tea and many more are distributed by the state governments. So the state government's responsibility in PDS is operational. It includes identification of families below the poverty line, issue of ration cards and supervision of the functioning of FPS. FPS means fair price shops. Let's have some talk about Green Revolution. Indian Green Revolution is associated with the use of HYVS, high yielding variety seeds, chemical fertilizers, and new technology, which led to a sharp rise in agriculture production during the middle of 1960s. The term Green Revolution was given by American scientist Dr. William Gandhi. The credit of this goes to our American agronomist Dr. Norval Borlaug. Borlaug has been hailed as the father of the Green Revolution. Borlaug was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1970 in recognition of his contributions to world peace through increased food supply. The credit of successfully implementing Green Revolution in India goes to MS Swaminathan. Let's know about something about revolutions. Yellow revolution is related to oil seed, white revolution related to milk, blue revolution is fish, pink revolution shrimp, meat, onion or medicine revolution you can say. Then a brown revolution is related to non-conventional energy sources, leather or coca you can also say it. Then gray revolution is related to fertilizer, golden revolution is related to horticulture or honey, then black revolution you can say with the petroleum production, then gold fiber revolution is related to jute, red revolution is related to moss and tomato, then circular revolution is related to potato, then silver fiber revolution is related to cotton, silver revolution is related to egg and poultry farming, and evergreen revolution is related to agriculture. White Revolution is associated with a sharp increase in milk production during 1964-65. Intensive cattle development program was introduced in the country in which a package of improved animal husbandry was given to cattle owners for promoting white revolution in the country. Okay, then in 1970, to accelerate the pace of White Revolution, a new program named Operation Flood was introduced by National Dairy Development Board, or you can say NDDB. India stands first in the world in milk production. USA stands second in the world. Dr. Verghese Kurian is the pioneer of Operation Flood in India. Let's have some talk about industry. In India, different industries generate employment opportunities to nearly 20% of the population, while their share in the GDP is 28%. Core industries in India, these are the industries that are necessary for industrialization of a country. The eight core industries comprises nearly 38% of the weight of the items included in the index of I industrial production, index of industrial production you can say in very short form IIP. Okay, so what are these eight core industries? These are electricity generation, steel, petroleum refinery, crude oil production, coal, cement, natural gas and fertilizer. Difference between a public and a private company. A public company is one that has equity. Equity means what? Equity means the value of shares issued by a company that members of the public, it might be you and me, okay, and can buy or sell. Then a private company, on the other hand, has equity that is closely held by the founders of the company or professionals, investors like venture capitalists and private equity companies. Initial public offering (IPO). What is it? IPO is the term used to describe the process by which a company goes from being a private company to being a public company. List of industries reserved for the public sector. These are mainly atomic energy and railway operations. Micro, small, and medium enterprises (MSMEs). Development Act 2006 defines MSMEs as follows: manufacturing sector, micro up to 25 lakh, small above it. This is, I think, some change. I'll give you this lecture, this type of information later on. Important industries of India, I have already told. Iron and steel industry is really important. Steel is an alloy of iron and carbon. Okay, first steel plant in India, the Bengal Iron Works Company, was established at Kulti near Jharia, West Bengal in 1870 by James Erskine. The first large-scale steel plant was Tisco at Jamshedpur in 1907 by Jamshedji Tata, followed by IISCO at Burnpur in 1918. The first public sector unit was Vishwaraya Iron and Steel Works at Bhadravati in 1923. SAIL Steel Authority of India Limited was formed in 1974. SAIL is responsible for managing 5 integrated steel plants at Bhilai, Bokaro, Durgapur, Rourkela and Burhanpur. Let's know about a special economic zone. SAES. SAES is a specially delineated duty-free enclave and is deemed to be foreign territory for the purpose of trade operations and duties and tariffs. In other words, SAES is a geographical region that has economic laws different from a country's typical economic laws. Usually, the goal is to increase foreign investments. Special Economic Zones Act 2005 was passed by Parliament in May 2005 and received presidential assent on June 23, 2005. The act envisages that the SAES would attract a large flow of foreign and domestic investment in infrastructure and productive capacity leading to generation of additional economic activity and creation of employment opportunities. At present, 389 SAES have been notified, of which 170 are functional. Navratna was the title given originally to 9 public sectors enterprises or PSC identified by Government of India in 1997 as its crown jewels or the most prestigious PSCs, which allowed them greater autonomy to compete the global market. The number of PSCs having Navratna's status has now been raised to 17. Creation of selection Navratna status is conferred by Department of Public Enterprises. Okay, so that score is based on 6 parameters, which includes net profit and net worth, total manpower cost, then cost to total cost of production or cost of services, PBIDIT, profit before depreciation, interest and taxes, to capital employed, then PBIT to turnover, and international intersectoral performances. List of Navratnas. You have BAIL, Bharat Electronics Limited, Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited, Niveli Lignite Corporation, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, HAL, then HPCL, Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited, then Rashtriya Ispat Nigam Limited, Mahanagar Telephone Nigam Limited, MTNL, then NALCO, National Aluminium Company Limited, NALCO, then National Mineral Development Corporation, NMDC, OIL, Oil India Corporation, sorry, Oil India Limited. Then these are the Navratna company. Maharatna in 2009, the government established the Maharatna status, which raises a company's investment ceiling from rupees 1,000 crore to 5,000 crore. The criteria is having Navratna status should be there. List of Maharatnas, we have 7 only. Now, Indian Oil Corporation, NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporation, then ONGC, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, then Steel Authority of India SAIL, then Coal India Limited CIL, Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited BHEL, and Gas Authority of India Limited, it means GAIL. Okay, so GAIL, BHEL, SAIL, these are the many companies are there. Then Mini Ratnas, government has also created another category like Mini Ratnas. Okay, so this one has a category 1 and 2. Now, in next audio, I'll talk about banking system in India. Thank you. Thanks a lot.